Lord have mercy. All right. Sunday evening. Good gravy. Just got done some back work. Now tonight, and this is going to segue into the whole point of the video, and I think these are some fucking awesome tips. Now, take it or leave it. You know what I'm saying? You can lead a horse to water. Works for me. You know? I mean, the proof is always in the pudding. And you would think, you know, I'm 60 years old, man. I'm 60 years old. And, you know, yeah, people say, oh, you look old, your eyes are all fucking look like you're old and all this shit. I'm 60. I'm 60. Go round up a bunch of 60-year-olds and see what they look like compared to me. I don't really look that freaking bad for being 60 years old, you know? Anyway, and I mean, physically, I definitely am a domineering fucking 60-year-old, but, you know, I don't think I've aged that terribly at all. Not for being 60, for God's sake. I ride motorcycles all my life. The wind, the weather, every other damn thing. Grit, you know, I don't think I look that bad going through all that. If you knew the shit that I've lived through, I mean, not my own doing, you know, you'd agree with me. Okay, so tonight I did back, and what I did tonight was I went and did, again, like a kind of like a giant set, you know. Superset is when you're going to work two opposing muscle groups, chest and back, you know, one big set, a superset. Bis and tris, I used to do that a lot, still do sometimes. I work things in cycles, you know what I mean? Okay, but tonight I like to do these giant sets too, which just means I'll do two different exercises, you know, back to back with no rest. One, and then walk right over, do the other immediately, now stop. That's considered one set. That's a superset. Or a giant set, excuse me, not a superset. You can have three exercises, whatever you want. Sometimes I do have three. It depends on what it is, what muscle group it is, why I'm doing it, what I'm trying to accomplish. So tonight, opening up for back, I did lat pull downs. I like lat pull downs. Lat pull downs are going to make you wide. Lat pull downs are going to make you wide. They're going to make you wide, man. They're going to make you wide, but you got to do them right. You know, even when I was enormous, for me, it's never worked, and I've had an awesome back, so it's never worked for me to be leaning way far back, you know, damn near almost horizontal, you know, and just leveraging the weight down. Now I've seen big, huge guys do it, and it worked for them, that had incredible backs, but that never really got it done for me. And as I've gotten older, my form is actually, I've made it a point to improve my form, you know, to really make sure that my lats are really pulling it, and I'm taking all the secondary movers and all that out of the equation as much as possible. So I will lean back some, and I'll pull down, and I'll walk up, I'll creep up to it a little bit. You know what I mean? I'll pull down, I'll creep up to it a little bit. I don't, you know, pull it down to the top of my chest, and I'll touch the top of my chest. So what I did tonight was, I start out, of course I'm going to always warm up. First set, lat pull downs might even be a weight that I'm going to do 20 or 25 reps with, you know, with good form and really flexing those lats, really pulling back. And as soon as I do that, I walk over to the barbell here, and I'll do, with no weight on the bar at all, just empty Olympic barbell, and do a set of bent over rows with underhand grip, you know, Yates style. I'll do a set of bent over rows immediately, barbell rows. Then, you know, I'll increase the weight on the pull downs, and I'll do another set. I'll put a little bit of weight on the bar, and I'll do another set of barbell bent over rows, and then I'll rest. That's, you know, that's a whole set, is do the pull downs, do the rows, that's a set. I'll keep doing that, and I'll escalate up in weight. Pyramiding, I'm going up in weight and coming down in repetitions. I never go below 12 repetitions on lat pull downs, even when they get heavy. So the reasoning behind this is, number one, I'm working at home. So my pulley setup is very primitive compared to that you would find in a really good commercial gym. It still gets it done. I'm not complaining. There's always a way. You could give me freaking just a couple handles with some collars and just some loose plates, and I'll make what I need dumbbell wise, and I'll get a complete workout, and I'll still get big. So I don't care what what I got to work with. I'm going to always make it happen. So your lack of equipment or your shitty equipment or compromised, your access is compromised as far as the equipment that you have available to you. None of that's an excuse. None of that's an excuse. It's all about work, like I told you before. Work out, working out, working, work, right? As in verb, work. So as long as you're willing to work, and you know that's what you're there to do is to work, you're gonna be able to win. You're gonna get the returns out of it, whatever you're after. So I'll get to where it's moderately heavy, and I'm doing like 15 reps pull down. Right behind that, I'll come over here and I'll do 10 to 15 rep set of, well, closer to probably 12 to 15 rep set of barbell bent over rows, okay? Now, I'll reach a point where it's a point of diminishing returns for me to continue on that way. But what it's actually done is it's actually beat my back up bad enough that I'm ready to move. The weights that I'm moving doing pull downs are heavier now. They're requiring more activation, in my lats. I'm having to use more muscle fibers and recruit more fibers, and I do a lot of this kind of shit, and I'm having to up the ante as far as the amount of stress and the effort, right? Whereas if I hadn't done these giant sets and I hadn't, thrown in there, alternated doing bent over rows with them as a giant set with the pull downs, I would have been there longer, and I would have had to have gone heavier. And because my pulley system isn't the greatest in the world, once you get so heavy, and I do have to get pretty heavy, I can pull a shitload of weight with good form on lat pull downs. My back's looking pretty good nowadays, and it used to be strong as fuck. Now it's still moderately powerful. So my machine doesn't really, because I replace the pulleys and all regularly. I do all that. I lube the fucker up. I replace the cables. I replace the pulleys. All of that's all is kept up. It's a regular thing. So I don't really have that much drag. But once I start to get enough weight on it, it's going to have some drag, and it's not going to be really smooth. And that's when I got a lot of weight on there. So instead of having to put almost the whole stack, pin the whole stack and try to pull it on my rickety ass machine, this way I've so fatigued the back, and I'm having to recruit so many fibers now just to get the job done in this state and condition I've beat the back into already, that I don't have to go as heavy. I'm still going heavy, but I don't have to go as heavy to get my 12 rep sets in. And then once I get to the heaviest weight that I can pull and in that condition and get 12 reps, right? I can't get 13. I will rest in between enough, and there's no more rows involved, it's just pull downs now. And I will do at least 3 what I consider work sets like that with my lat pull downs. And then the lat pull downs are finished. Then the next thing I will do is I will do unilateral low row pulls, right? One hand at a time. And I'll again do that on my machine over here, my multi-station machine. And it's just like a lot of machines. You have these, it's actually intended to be, well, it is to sit down and do pull, rows with, but what I will do is stand up and do one side at a time. And the reason I do that is I can stand up high enough that I'm getting a lower pull. So I'm almost mimicking the movement on those hammer strength seated low row pull machines, leverage machines. So I'm almost mimicking that. And I'm doing 15 reps per side and getting up into the weight until I'm doing 12 per side. When it gets to the point that the weight's too fucking heavy now, after I've got my 3 work sets up there and I'm pretty fatigued, I will sit down and use both hands like it's intended to be used. And then, I'll get like 15 or 20 reps, and then I can escalate the weight further and use both hands. And once I've already pre-fatigued unilaterally, then I'll do, I'll use both hands. Um, then I'll begin to throw some shrugs in there. And what I'll do there is giant sets again. I will do barbell shrugs, and I'll super giant set that along with doing dumbbell bent over, right seated, dumbbell rear delt raises, or whatever you want to call them, rows, raises, whatever the fuck you want to call them, where I'm gonna sit on the edge of the bench, I'm gonna lean way far over, and I'm pulling the weights back, right? So I'm still bringing in traps as a strong secondary mover, especially pre-fatiguing them by doing standing barbell shrugs, and then as soon as I set the bar down, go right over, sit my ass down, and do the rear laterals, right? The posterior delt shit. And then after that, I'll do plenty of that. And then after that, I'll actually do standing dumbbell lateral raises, right? And I will, again, giant set that with, I will use a rope, right? Like you would use for triceps, but I will use it on a mid-level pulley that I have on my machine, and I'll pull it to about nose level, and I'm almost doing, face pulls, more or less, but not really high. Not all exaggerated, my elbows way up high, right? Just I want to bring in, again, we're making life a little difficult on those traps, but, and I'm beating on those rear delts after I just did some direct rear delt work as well. And then I will gradually move that down to where I'm actually pulling low to my chest. And so I'm bringing in upper back and rhomboids and shit. And up lats, high on my lats too. And tonight's back workout was all giant set stuff. So the only reason I'm hammering this point home is because if you train at home, if you train in the gym, it's more difficult because if it's crowded, you got to try to use two different pieces of equipment or apparatus or whatever at the same time, occupy two different things without somebody else, wanting to use it. But at home, it's very easy. So these are ways at home that if you're limited in equipment, or you're limited in your pulley system, or you're limited in weight, there's always a way. There's always a way, and the shit works because I can train down here in this basement. Now the next back workout won't be this workout at all. It'll be more my traditional, typical, deadlifts, shrugging my deadlifts like I do them. It'll be a more free weight, heliocentric or free weight centric type of fucking workout. But I like to switch things up a lot, and I'm just trying to say that there's always a way to provide that stimulation. And when I'm down in this basement, I'll stay down here months, and I'll do primarily free weight work. And it doesn't matter if I have to lighten up and I'm doing giant sets and I'm doing pre-exhaustive techniques and all this other horse shit. When I go back to the gym after that, I'll go back to the gym and I'll thoroughly exhaust what's available to me there and explore the room for the next 2 or 3 weeks. Then I'm back in the basement for months because most of the fucking work actually gets done down here. This is where the size gets built, and it kind of just gets refined. And yeah, it sort of rounds everything out when I go to the gym, because I don't typically go into the gym now and utilize their free weight shit and all that, because I have that. I have that here. If I want to do that, I don't need to leave the house. This is my atmosphere here, and this is where I get my best workout nowadays, to tell you the truth. But when I do go into the gym after months down here, it's just to explore the realm and to use the variety of equipment and shit that's not available to me here. That's all it is. That's all it's for, And what I have found doing this, since I've been doing this year, is when I go back into the gym, I'm stronger. I'm stronger with this approach than if I just stayed in the gym the whole time and just did whatever I do in there, and hadn't been doing this basement shit. Doing this basement shit, bringing in all the stabilizers again, like old school, back in the day, with all the free weight stuff and everything, being more primarily focused on that. When I return to the gym, I'm so much stronger that all of the machines, the leverage machines, the hammer strength shit, I can just put plates and plates on these motherfuckers and press the weight with authority. Not no shit form, not slinging this shit around, you know. And that actually surprised me. But it's nice when shit works to plan, you know. It's nice when things go the way they're supposed to go. I love it when a plan comes together. Anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about, really. You can get it done with no matter what you have, if you have the desire and the willpower and the consistency to just make it happen, to go down in the basement or to go out into the garage or go out into the shed or go wherever the hell your shit is that you got and say, well, this is what I got, but I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to make it happen. As long as you're focusing on the work portion, work as in a verb, work portion of workout, of working out, you know, you're focusing on working, you're going to come out ahead. You're going to be a winner. You know, you're going to fucking succeed. So that's all I'm here to tell you. Go get it.